All right, digital nomad friends, or whatever we're going to call you there, because you are there and we are here, which is also there. We've got a lot today because we asked you guys answer. We've got audio postcards. We've got travel questions and tips. We've got wrong answers only. And by the time you're listening to this, my ass is on a boat. So,
again.
I think I started that early because I would normally be done and that would have been plenty of time.
Well, that's right across the way is Judge Mentalist. And I'm your host of Big Sexy Digital Nomad, Big Sexy. What's happening, Judge? How you doing, sir?
I am fantastic. I am living the dream. We're recording this a little bit out of schedule and early, so I'm not on the boat yet, but we wanted a new, fresh episode for that week. I think that with you being 60 days, less than 60 days away.
59 days as of today before we happen.
I think that the bank episodes that we are sitting on, we want to continue to sit on just in case.
Right.
Our plan is, because it's 21 days you're on that boat, right?
15.
15. Why did I think it was 21? Still a lot. Idea. That's 2 full weeks.
Yeah, 15-day transatlantic.
I just don't want to chance it. I mean, I'm relatively flexible. Your time is going to be all sorts of fucked up and upside down to figure it out. We will certainly make it happen.
Right.
The thing that Billy was talking about, Skynet or whatever, the good internet.
Right.
Your boat's going to have that, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So hopefully we'll be good to go, and it'll be
and whatever the top internet package is what we'll be purchasing because wife still needs to work while we're on the boat. So she needs to connect with her clients. And so we'll make sure that we have the top internet package. And then I also plan on, this will be the first time I'm going to be documenting my travels with a purpose.
Right.
Before I've documented some of my travels just, because that's what we do. But this time I'm going to be documenting for the podcast. I'll be, setting up things, setting recordings. I may set up some like on-ship interviews, just me talking to another person, recording those and put those in a bank.
Yeah.
Just in case we need some filler for an episode. Like, hey, I have this great interview. I met so-and-so on the podcast. I met so-and-so on the cruise. We sat down for chat. Here's a quick 30-minute blah, blah, blah with X dude because he was cool or she was amazing. So, I'm anticipating quite a bit of that. I'm starting to get hyped about it. It's interesting because this morning I thought we were 4 weeks. I said, my wife goes, how long are we still in California? I said 4 weeks because today's Thursday and we're leaving on the Thursday. And I thought 4 weeks. And I go, that doesn't sound right because it's not the 3rd of or the 2nd of March. And, so because it's still in February, so it's not 4 weeks. We have a little bit more. So we have 5 weeks before we leave California as of this recording.
Right.
What I have 4 weeks is the 4 weeks before I leave my job. And so that's the bigger number for me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That I'm excited about. So I just did the math today, so I figured out exactly what day I'm going to put in. And before I said I wasn't going to give 2-week notice, and I changed my mind this morning. And I said, I'm going to give 2-week notice. I'm going to give 2-week notice. I have a date in mind. I know exactly when that is. I'm going to give my 2 weeks. Let them do whatever, because I don't want anybody to say I did a company wrong when I left or whatever. You never know what you may need down the road.
Right.
And so you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to, some people will let that fucker fly, but because the job won't give you 2-week notice.
If you can avoid it.
Yeah. But
burning the bridge, that is.
Right. Yeah. I'll smoke a bridge, but I won't, I'll try not to burn it down.
I have, obviously this is cruise number 2 for me. So I have a little bit more of an idea of how things flow and
pretty quick succession too. That's awesome.
They gave it to me for free because I gambled on the last one.
Of course.
You paid all
you paid for it. Yeah.
Taxes and shit, but
yeah,
they want, I did well on that cruise and they want to take a crack at getting my money back. Their money back. So this is a little different setup, and it's had me really open my eyes to how innovative human beings are. Okay. So the first cruise, we purchased the drink package. We did it ahead of time, the all included, whatever, blah, 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 blah. This time, with the offer that we got for the free suites, blah, 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 including drinks. Now, there's an asterisk on that. It's including drinks while we're in the casino. The thing you got to know about the casino is that when they are at port, any port, US, foreign, otherwise, the casino is closed.
Right.
Which means the bars in the casino also closed, which means the drinks that are free closed. So you're only sea days, evenings, whatever. Not a big deal. All right. We like to drink. We do drink. Well, I've told some stories about drinking on here. It's absolutely not a necessity. Like most of the meals that I ate on the last cruise, I'm not looking to necessarily have a drink at the meal. Sometimes depends on what I'm eating, depends on the mood, but I don't always have a drink in my hand. But after further contemplation, we were like, yeah, a decent chunk of our drinks were in that casino because we spent enough time there. And the boat's not huge. So the ability
Does your wife gamble as well?
What's that?
Does your wife gamble as well?
Yeah, actually, we're working the system here. She gambled enough to also get a free ocean view offer.
Nice.
So here's what we did. I booked my suite, and her sister's boyfriend is in the cabin with me.
Okay.
She booked her room, and her sister is in the cabin with her.
Aha. So you're
on paper.
So you were able to be the cool family members who are bringing family members for free on a cruise.
Right. And it's cool because they knew about it because we ran all the dates by them and everything. But for Christmas, I went and grabbed one of my favorite pictures of Terry Crews off the internet, printed it out, wrapped it up, and said, "Here you go." And they were like, "What's this?" And it took a few seconds. I'm like, "Cruise. We got you a cruise. You already knew this, but here."
You're such a nerd.
That's my jam. All right. So not wanting to necessarily be tied to the casino, because I thoroughly admit that we did not explore enough and do enough of the other entertainment shit on the last cruise. We're also going to be with other people, so we're going to get pulled into those directions.
Right.
And I'm not going to play this game where I go grab a drink in the casino because it's free, walk out, go do something else, and then when my drink's empty, turn around and walk away to go back to the casino to refill. I think that's shenanigans. Like if you're down the hall, if you're a deck away, that's one thing. But like I don't want to be at the pool and then
go all the way to the casino just to get a drink.
That's not happening. So we've investigated different ways to bring your own alcohol, which is mostly prohibited on the boat. And I'm not saying that we are or are not doing this. I will say, though, that I am impressed with the innovation of mankind. Some of the things that I have seen, one of them are these things called rum runners. They're basically these clear plastic bags that are, I mean, if you go to Amazon and you search flasks to sneak booze on a cruise, this is what comes up. It is in the name of the fucking product. They are not hiding the ball. And these were suggested by my sister-in-law. So we grab some of those in case we decide that we want to test that out. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, that's some shit. They're going to see that. They're going to know. And apparently not. Apparently these things are very successful from some of my cursory research. Right. But then I was like, why wouldn't we put them in like, I was actually talking about a few other things that if I said too much about them would be revealing some magic secrets, because I was asking my travel agent about something about this. And he's like, I'm not going to say anything to you because that would be contrary to my job, but you're a magician. Cool. You figure it out. And that made a light bulb go off inside of my head as the best practice to get these bags of liquid into the boat without detection.
Onto the boat.
Onto the boat. And I'm gonna code this the way that Penn and Teller do, in case there are any magicians out there that are listening to this.
We have to have at least one, right? One magician who listen to the podcast just because you're a magician. They want to hear what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly. So all I'm gonna say to my magician friends is that I think I have a plan to get alcohol onto this boat, and I challenge you to top it. Okay. And if you can come up with an idea, go ahead and email us at bigsexynomad at gmail.com. It will be too late for me on this cruise. But the other thing that we found, and this just blows my mind, that people will go to this trouble to manufacture this sort of thing. I'm going to start by reading to you the actual name of the item. So if you were to type this into Amazon search bar, you would see exactly what I am seeing. Fake shampoo and conditioner by cruise runners. Hidden liquor alcohol flasks for booze cruise. Enjoy rum runners 4 bottles. These are bottles that that are opaque, so they're plain white. They have a actual sticker on the front that looks like you'd get just at wherever you buy your shampoo. The kicker is they have the little protection security seal stickers that come with it.
Oh, nice.
So you fill it up with whatever liquid you choose. I guess you probably dry it off or whatever. We haven't done this, but I might have ordered them to test it out. Then I guess these stickers adheres onto the top of, just like when you open up a bottle so that people don't fuck with it in the store. It's got that little security seal label thing that you peel off when you get it home. This has those to put onto the bottle and then screw the top back on. I guess that way, if somebody's like, "Hey, that looks suspicious," and they open it up and unscrew the bottle, it's got a security seal on. So I just the innovation of mankind, juxtaposed with how stupid I know mankind is at the same time, is just absolutely baffling to me. That both of these things, I know how dumb some people can be
Right.
in general, but then how smart some people can be with shit like this.
Yeah,
Like,
we found because of our Christmas party in January, somebody brought drink infusers. So essentially, what it is a glass, a jar filled with flavoring and additives, and then all you have to do is add the alcohol.
okay,
Right. So it's like if you want I think Mai Tai made one of them. So it had dried fruit and all the other things you would put in a Mai Tai just in a jar. And it's just that is dry. It looks very innocuous.
yeah,
And then when you add the rum to it, it makes it into a Mai Tai. And so I will look into these bottles because we are do vodka and rum, and we're looking at possibly doing that. I'd have to tell you a story
yes, please.
about our honeymoon cruise when we were trying to get because we had that experience of trying to want to bring alcohol back from Italy. We imported. We went to Italy, where when they had these really awesome, delicious Italian bottles. Or maybe it was Greek. Might have been Greece. A Greek bottle of vodka that we wanted to bring back on board. And of course, you can't bring alcohol from port onto the ship.
They check it for you. Like
Yeah,
you can take it on disembarkation day, correct? Like you can buy stuff at the duty free and they hold it for you.
yeah, but this wasn't a duty free. This was
Okay.
bought. Yeah, this was bought at a little shop or whatever, and we wanted to drink it on the boat. So we one word for you, Camelback.
Hmm.
We had backpacks that are the Camelback backpacks. It kind of has a little tank in the back, and it has a little
Yeah.
tube that you drink water in or whatever. And so we went out with those full of water, and then returned with them full of vodka.
Ah.
Right. And so to security, we are just returning with the same Camelbacks that we had on that just have a little bit less water than we had before, but it's fine. Went through, no problem. And then we had the bottles, empty bottles. We showed them the bottles were empty. Took those back on, and then we got back into our cabin. We just refilled the bottles from the Camelback, and then we had vodka for the cruise, which was lovely. It was great. Although it made the water in the Camelback kind of taste like vodka for the rest of the cruise.
Well,
Small prices to pay.
When in Rome, right?
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Yeah. So the cool thing is that. So obviously, I kind of talked a little bit in the past about Elkton Magic, its origins, how it used to be set up, how it's set up now. So with me now running all of the bookings, there's a point to this, and it circles back to the cruise. I had to set up a business entity, bank account, and all that stuff. And when I went to set up the bank account, the bank manager who was doing all of this for me, in the conversation I learned, had been on this exact same cruise out of Baltimore, same ports, week long, 7 days and everything, probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So she gave me, while we were sitting there chatting, the whole rundown on these specific ports. Okay, so on day one, you're here. Don't, everybody's going to go off the boat and they're going to go to the left. Don't do that. Go to the right. Go about this far. This is what you look for. Get one of these cabanas, blah, 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 blah. With 2 of the 3 ports, I feel like I've kind of got a game plan on how to go where nobody else is to have a good laid back time and everything like that. So I'm super excited about that. I will be taking notes on that, and I will report back on that. That way, because I'm sure that like the second port, Princess K, is an island that I think Carnival owns. So it's not going to necessarily be that you have to be on the same cruise line from the same initial port that I am to potentially end up here. So, I'm looking forward to getting that kind of dirt and spreading it around and more travel tips for people.
Yes. Awesome sauce. I love it.
Which actually kind of brings me to, this is a combo here. And this is kind of an audio postcard. It is kind of a request for travel tips. And at this point, what I'm doing is completely unsolicited. Okay. So I was listening to one of the podcasts recently that is in my regular rotation. What's the name of that podcast?
Hey, buddy. Nice podcast.
Thanks, man. Thanks. So I was listening to Hey Buddy Nice podcast. And there was a question that came up from one of the hosts where the comment was made that maybe they should reach out to us.
Right. I was listening to that same podcast and heard them make the mention. I went, oh, well, they absolutely should.
So I actually reached out to Wayne and said, hey, can I secretly get that audio drop from you? Because we're not going to wait for Brogan to ask. We're just going to snag the audio, and here it is. So a little, hold on. Should I do the little, that's our current intro for basically everything that's not the show for this audio postcard, which you can leave one for us. If you don't, let's put it this way. If you are not a co-host on a podcast that we regularly listen to and would have access to steal the audio drops from you asking us a question on that podcast, go to prankcall.me to leave it yourself, and it'll show up this same way. But here is the drop that we stole from Penn. Help me out again.
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
Yeah, because if I'm going to steal drops, we're going to steal all the drops.
Right.
I don't eat the plain food either. I actually need to I need to send an email to Big Sexy Digital Nomad because I want travel tips on how to make it clear to the stewardess without being rude that I do not want the food. Whether I'm awake or not, do not give me the food.
If you're asleep, any plane I'm on, it's like they say make sure you put the such and such over the belt or something like that, and then that's it, like so we know that you want food and we'll wake you up. Otherwise, we won't wake you up. Or if you are awake, when they come around with the food, just go, no, thank you. That's pretty obvious.
I did that.
Yeah, they're not.
I did that, and they were still like.
But aren't they going to But I thought that, there's not always an option if it's like a snack, I guess. Yeah.
The snack I don't mind because it's like a sealed packet of crisps.
Yeah.
That's fine. But no, like the actual meal, like on the plane coming home, they gave us a sandwich that was wrapped. I hate sandwiches anyway, and I was asleep for a good 5 hours on that flight, and that sandwich ended up on the floor under the seat in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anywhere to put it.
All right.
Plain food from the floor, no good. So that comes from Brogan, who is a co-host of Hey Buddy Nice podcast. Does a lot of the art for our
podcast.
Yeah, so if you have seen us in any of our cartoonish iterations, that was probably from Brogan, the other co-host, Wayne Geo. He did the comic of your wife.
Of my wife and Brett Loudermilk.
And those, I had one poor attempt to turn those into stickers. So then I had him do some things to help make it work better. And those stickers, the new stickers with the comic, are actually out for delivery right now. Those sweet. 3 magic words. So when UPS gets to my office,
I have to give you my new address so you know where to send those.
Because there's 2 things that are coming that are relevant directly to this podcast. But I'll tell you everything I'm getting in the sticker package. And then we will circle back to answer Brogan's question, because I have a qualified answer to that question. Because knowing it ahead of time, I went and did a little research. I've got a friend who's a flight attendant. And I was
nice. Okay.
Lay it on me.
I will give my uneducated and just based off of, humanity, what I know about. I've never had that option. I never had that problem of not wanting food. So this would be new for me because free food means free food.
Yes.
And it's funny she mentioned that whatever they gave. And again, I've never been on that type of. I can't say I haven't been on a transatlantic flight because we flew out to Rome. And I know they served us food, but I ate it and I liked it. But I'm trying to remember if it was sealed. I think it was sealed. And so just like the crisps,
Scottish potato chips for you Americans.
Just like those, it was sealed, and so anything that wanted to stay, because I think wife didn't want to eat hers, so we saved it for later, right? We were able to do so. I've never been given anything that I said, no, don't give it to me. On a plane. I said specifically on the plane. I've been given stuff I didn't want before, but never on a plane. I imagine my advice would have been the same as Wayne's, if I'm asleep. And he said something about putting something or other over your belt buckle. That doesn't work if you're fat, because fat people, you can't see my belt buckle. So if I put anything only over the belt buckle is my Dunlap. And that's when your belly Dunlapped over the belt buckle. So I won't be able to see. The flight attendant wouldn't be able to see the whatever I had placed over the belt. I know usually if you leave your tray table up, if there's nowhere for them to sit the food down, then they try to have to wake you up so you can take it, and then you can say, no, thank you, I don't want any meal, and they should keep it moving, right? But if your tray table is down, then they have a place to sit it down, and they can keep moving. So I think you have to make it inconvenient for them to give you something you don't want.
But again, if that's the situation, they will wake you up. And I think that some people, and I don't know if this is the case for Brogan or not, but some people want to sleep on the plane, and if they can get to sleep, won't go back to sleep if they wake up. So they don't want to be woken up. So if that is the case, and that is actually not knowing the full background, that is how I posed the question to my friend who's a flight attendant. And here's the advice that was given. As soon as you board, and there's a stipulation to this, but as soon as you board, let a flight attendant know that you don't want the meal. However, as soon as you board really does not start until you want to wait until the overhead bins are closed.
Mm-hmm.
Right at that point in time, their focus is on getting everybody on the plane. And if you are in a position to be able to see it, that cabin door has closed, then you want to let either the closest flight attendant know, or if there's not somebody that's like right there in the aisle when all of that happens, ring the call bell before they start the initial announcements and everything, and just let them know. And that is basically, again, don't do it because before they close the door or the overhead bins, because they're in the hustle and bustle of that, and they're dealing.
It's not going to stick in their brain. They don't know who you are at that time. Yeah.
Right. But the one thing that I would say, I mean, that idea, if you're kind of like on the fence and you don't want to be bothered, but hey, maybe you might want that food later, have the tray table down, because they will try to slide that over and not disrupt you if they can, at least in my experience, because I try to sleep on planes, and I don't do much international, but I will say that if I'm doing either international or a long flight, and to me, long is 5 or more hours.
Right.
Although I don't give a fuck about the Vegas flight.
Which is about 5 hours for you, right? Just about 5 hours.
That's just get me there, because that's like my home away from home. So typically, if I've got an extended flight or an international flight, I will spring to get a business class or a first class ticket, unless it's like astronomical, the price difference. And at that point in time, you want that food, because it is probably the only truly edible food on the flight. But again, I'm also a man of size. Even when I am at my slimmest and most fit and going to the gym regularly.
So we're talking about 16, 17 years old. That's what
No. I'm just talking about in my adult life.
Gotcha.
I have that. It's a roller coaster, so to speak, for me. I never get myself to a point where I would ever be described as thin. Okay. Even in my best of days, at least at this age.
Yeah, I'm not known as thin sexy.
Yeah. So, I want the meal, and I do think, and I don't know if this has actually happened, but I remember Brogan mentioning something. Oh, has this happened? Or was this on the bank episode that we recorded for our podcast with Brogan, where it was mentioned that upgrading the flights for the next trip to the States is something that Brogan was looking to do?
I think that was on that podcast that we may not have dropped yet.
Okay.
If I recall.
I know that somewhere, whether it's public yet or not, Brogan has said that. So
the fun thing, there was a good week or 2 weeks where we were talking to Brogan a lot. So
yeah,
it could be any one of those situations. But yeah, great question, Brogan. Good idea, and I hope they'll be giving you some food for thought, or some thought how to avoid the food.
And those are fantastic things to send in, whether you do them as an audio postcard, whether you do them as an email. Think of us. Let's say you're a Pod Therapy listener, which I've started listening to them occasionally. Imagine us like Pod Therapy, except for travel. You've got a weird situation that you ran into. Maybe it's something that's already happened, and you're like, how could I have handled that differently? How could I have avoided that? Kind of like this, like, hey, these flight attendants keep waking me up for meals I don't want. How do I avoid that next time? Or maybe it's, whether it's a cruise thing or an international flight thing or a new thing that you're about to do, and you want to, hey, I'm going to these, maybe it's a cruise and you're going to certain ports, and you're like, hey, I want to make sure that, this, that, or the other. Do you have any tips? Because if we don't, we have resources, much like
tons of resources.
I had this question I asked my friend that's a flight attendant. I think that hopefully there's a good answer. So stickers, let's talk about these stickers that are coming, and feel free to email us, bigsexynomad@gmail.com, or hit us up on the socials, bigsexynomad. We will send you out stickers relevant to the podcast. I believe what I have showing up is a good looking version of the comic that Wayne did not too long ago, of your wife with the Sword Swallower on stage at Mad Apple.
Yes.
So those will be
the
cool.
last mock-up you had like zero information about zero, just had the comic strip on it. Are these the same, or does it have like our website at the bottom of it?
So this is going to have our I don't even remember. It's either going to have our website at the bottom or our social media at the bottom.
Because that's important.
And instead of me adding it, the first time I tried to add something on the back end, it didn't look great. They printed super small. And I was like, Wayne, please, can you just do this for me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it put your name in it somewhere because I don't want you to not get credit, and he's like, oh, that's fine because you subscribe to my Patreon. So it's your art. I'm like, yeah, but still, I want people to, if they see this and like it and want it, to find you. Please put your tag it somewhere.
No, just because you subscribe to the Patreon doesn't make me my art. It just makes it, you created it. So I'm all about artists maintaining the right to their work, no matter where the money comes from, because it didn't come out of my brain or his brain or your brain. It came out, not mine or your brain. It came out of his brain. And
exactly.
So,
and look, there's way too much in this world of, hey, if you do this, I'll give you exposure. How about I pay you and give you exposure?
How about I do both?
Exactly.
How about I give you money and then expose you? That's the same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
In a good way. In a good way. So those are coming, and I think from the proof, those look good. Also, Brogan did new art for us when I became Judge Mentalist and not the Almost Psychic for the podcast cover. So those are coming. I got a bunch of those.
I'm excited for those.
I have
people
some,
like those. People like that, and has all the information that we need and can put out there, and people like stickers. I learned that people like stickers. As I'm slowly running out of the previous ones. I think I've given away most of them.
I'm just happy that they're showing up for me before the cruise.
Right.
That way I can take them with me. I can get some in the mail to you before I leave. So obviously offline, make sure you text me the new address for your current location.
I'll do that now while we're talking about it, because I'm forgetful. And if I don't do it right now while we're talking on the cast, I'll forget.
Sounds good. I got 2 different Judge Mentalist type stickers coming. One of them is the old-timey poster that if you've seen any of my social media stuff, you've certainly seen that poster. That's awesome. I love that poster.
That's pretty awesome. If you haven't had a chance, go to our social medias and check it out.
And then and you can see both of these on judgmentalist.com. The very top first image that you see with the cartoon version of me holding the scales of justice. Of course, you'll recognize the art. That is Brogan. That is coming as a sticker. And then if you scroll down the poster that has the jury box and everybody in the back, there is a new version of that poster coming. Funny story about this. I sent the poster to Uncle RJ in one of its early forms because he was somebody that I batted around the idea about the name change with. Obviously it came from Jeff McBride, and I was kind of on that track of, hey, if the master came up with this, you just go with it. But RJ he and I chatted back and forth about some notes and routine stuff to make it jive with that character. And he's like,
Uncle RJ Owens, one of the co-hosts of 2 Characters and a Clown podcast.
That's right.
Check them out.
Hilarious podcast.
They talk about food and shows and shit.
That's right. So he's like, hey, you should put a jury box in the background and put actual people in the background. So my art guy that I was doing this, and I'll post his information in the show notes as well, so that we can cite to all of the artists that we've talked about today. It's kind of like this is, we're doing all this art talk. It's almost like this is an episode of,
hey buddy, nice podcast.
We're not going to steal their thunder beyond plugging them. So I'm sure they won't mind, and answering their questions. But when the first draft came back, one of the people in the jury box kind of looked like RJ. So I was like, hey, and I sent him a picture of RJ wearing his glasses. And I'm like, can you put these glasses on that guy? I want to make him look like that. And then there's another version of this coming. So Uncle RJ is in the background. He's on my jury. But then I sent him pictures of a couple of other mentors of mine and people that I consult with on some of my work. And those are going to be hidden in the background as well in a future version. So
I was thinking you should, everybody in that jury box should be somebody. Jury of your peers.
Yes.
So they should all be magicians, or folks you've worked with, folks who, you're close with and connect with. I kept when I saw the name, I'm okay. I see RJ. You can't miss RJ. And I'm looking. Are any guys Matt Donnelly? Who's is Penn or Teller in here? Stuff like that. So I think if you should make each iteration make several different copies and have a who's who of magicians in the background, and then it's just fun. Then it's just fun trying to figure out who's who and who's what. So
yeah,
I would highly recommend that.
So that's fun, and then some Elkton Magic stickers, just to help keep pushing mad props to one Matt Donnelly, who I know won't be listening to this, so this is going to fly under the radar.
Right.
He is currently doing the Fuller's Live mini tour. They've got 3 days out in the Midwest, and that started with them doing 3 or 4 days of rehearsal in Milwaukee, which is the first stop. At the time that you're listening to this, this will have all happened. At the time of this recording, the first show is tomorrow. I was messaging Alex Ramon, who is also on this tour, because he had posted something about people contacting him about booking him in their town, and he's doing some sort of like home shows. But I was like, hey, I'm definitely interested. We had talked at Magic Live. Here are some options that we have. Whatever this home show thing that you want to do is, I've got the facility to do that. Depending on when it would be, I will have a private magic parlor in my house. That is a possibility. But then I also have this theater, and I'm like, you know what? You're doing Fuller's Live. When you go to rehearsal, ask Matt about Elkton Magic, and he'll tell you. Later that afternoon, he texts me back with a selfie of him and Matt, and I'll text you this picture. But let me read what it said. His message was, he walked into rehearsals like this, and it's a selfie picture of him and Matt is wearing an Elkton Magic there
it is
sweatshirt.
Oh, neat, nice,
nice. To Matt for spreading the word about that cool stuff that we're doing here. Definitely not asked for, but I did give him the sweatshirt so that maybe that would happen somewhere someday.
And look how fast that happened.
Exactly. So much appreciated. I think he appreciates Elkton. Elkton absolutely appreciates him. Yeah. So you want to try out this wrong answers only thing?
Well, let's give it a shot. Let's run it. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully there's some humor.
We have ordered and requested specific intro music for this. Okay, so this is in the works, but we'll just give it the generic for now.
Wrong answers only.
Wrong answers only. So I got 3 questions here. Let's see how many of them we get through. I understand now with this kind of stuff how some of these podcasts that we listen to go to an hour and a half. We're not going to do that to you. So maybe we get through these. Maybe we save some of them for the next episode. But email us. And if you don't know, because these are going to be questions that I ask Big Sexy, he has not seen these. So in all caps in the subject line, write all wrong answers only, so that because we share the inbox, he will know not to open these. So question number 1, I haven't even read these yet, by the way.
Sometimes Judge won't have read them either.
I just knew that they were there, and I was like, sweet, we got something. Question number 1. What U.S. state has the most 24-hour diners?
Alaska.
Well, I don't have the answer, so...
it must be Alaska. No. I'm sorry. The state of inebriation.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I have to say it's the state of inebriation. in the U.S. that is the highest state when you absolutely want to find a 24-hour diner. So I'm going to say it's the state of inebriation.
And I'm going to chime in with the bonus point for stating how many diners are in that state. 69. Next question. Question number 2. Oh, God. I have an answer for this one. What performer or act has spent the higher consecutive days on a cruise ship?
The state of inebriation. Inebriation. If you know anything about cruising and those inebriated, they're performers in and of themselves. The I'm going to say it's Drunky McDrunkerson.
I was thinking it was going to be Snoop Dogg.
And his wife, Lit Bitch.
Ooh, Lit Bitch.
Yeah.
A new album. That.
Yeah, new Snoop Dogg album. That's the next Snoop Dogg album, Lit Bitch.
Bonus point for how many days? I think it was 420.
Yes.
Okay, I'm picking up what we're putting down here. I think this could become a thing, and I think that these are actually some great questions to get us started. To give the example of the types of questions you should send us, so that we can twist and turn them like this, because of course we're providing wrong answers only. And this is from Joshua Tarr, by the way. So thank
you very much, Joshua. Appreciate that.
Joshua did not give us the correct answers.
No, wrong answers.
You don't
only.
need to.
I think it's
perfect that we don't have the correct answers.
All we want are the questions.
We wanted the questions, because all we're going to give you are the wrong answers only. Or at least we hope. Maybe one day we get one of these right. Who knows? Who cares?
That would be hilarious. Accidentally joking, and all of a sudden, no, that's the right answer. I was worried when I said Alaska. I went, oh no, that's an actual state. Let me back off that.
It's new. We're feeling it out. Question number 3. What retail location has the highest number of road trip travelers utilizing their parking lots for overnight sleeping accommodations?
That's a long-ass question. There's so much to unpack there. So what retail location has a parking lot, first off? And then in that parking lot, people stay overnight there in that parking lot while they're traveling. That one's actually very easy. That one's common knowledge. Everybody knows it. It's your mom's house.
Ding, ding, ding. I was actually thinking, because you probably recently added to this total, that it might be Pep Boys. Once you go there to get help, you might not.
You'll be there for a bit while you're traveling. That's where you got that right. You got that right. Discount Tire.
All right, that was fun. I think that let's get some more of those. So send us some questions.
Send us some stuff. Yes.
Three in a group. You don't have to do 3, but I wouldn't do more than 3.
Or do more. Do as many. Look, do as many as you like. If you want to send 100 questions in an email, send 100 questions. We'll parse them out. We'll separate them up. I'll probably only get to 3 of them, but then we have some. In case we don't get any, then we have some we can pull back from.
If you are so inclined and have multiples, and wish to break them up into emails where they are batched in 3s, that way you, if you wish, can curate which 3 questions are asked at the same time.
There you go.
Again, if you just want to throw them all in one email, beggars can't be choosers. We're looking for you guys to help us make this happen. That was a really cool set of them. I think we got some good. A good.
I like it.
Run on there.
Oh, play our transition music again. I got some news.
Oh, you're gonna retransition?
Production meeting. All right. So I actually was in conversation with a friend of mine who is starting a virtual assistant business. And I think I want to speak with her about utilizing her assistance to, one, help us with our social media output and develop a website. Now, so we'll talk about more about this off air, but I want to bring up we want to increase our our web presence, if you will. And I know that we have a few websites that kind of go to other things, but if we had a dedicated website to Big Sexy Digital Nomad, what type of stuff would we want to put on there?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say that one of the easier things, the lower hanging fruit is, and I don't mean the lowest hanging fruit, which is the embedded episodes of the podcast or the recent ones. That's a given. We're certainly not at the point. Our listenership is growing, and thank you all for that. Whether or not you're finding us organically, whether you're out there telling other people about it, all of it's appreciated. Whether
a friend of the podcast,
pick up on something because of a specific topic. Hey, maybe you just really love that picture last week of me dressed like a hooker. Who knows?
It was really great. Good job, Brogan.
Yes.
Brava.
Chef's kiss. Mwah. Sorry, just lost myself in that moment. Hey, maybe you found the comic on a sticker of the sword swallowing, or maybe Wayne posted it on Reddit on one of the days that you're allowed to post comics on Reddit or r/funny. I don't know. He was talking about this last week.
Just so you know, there's a part of me deep in my soul that's really close to the surface now that hopes and wishes and prays that because we are a family podcast with Ice Cream Social, that at the next Scoop Fest during the costume ball, somebody comes dressed as you as a hooker.
Oh, just put it out in the world.
I want that. I want a listener to dress as Judge Mentalist as a hooker. I want you to be as creative with it as possible. And matter of fact, I want to have a down the line. This is maybe for the summer. We're gonna hold a contest, and we'll have you submit your photo submissions of you dressed as Judge Mentalist as a hooker, and we will see them and we will vote on them, and then we will give some kind of prize of value. We'll find something of value to gift the winner of that. But that's coming down the line. This literally coming out of my brain as I'm speaking now. This isn't something we talked about beforehand.
It certainly is not.
I didn't mention it. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, as he brought it up, so I remember the costume on the sticker. On the sticker, I remember, I know that people have come dressed as things from stickers at Scoop Fests. And I'm like, well, we're not on Ice Cream Social, but we are a tangent of. I know quite a few of our listeners are Scoops. And so the obscurity of that costume might not win you the prize at Scoop Fest, but it would give you our undying adoration.
It'll win you the contest in our hearts. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I get it.
We'll definitely give you a prize at Scoop Fest for doing that. It outside of whatever they're giving and winning, we'll find something to gift, and we'll probably buy you drinks and dinner, and we'll probably buy you some swag. Like we'll hook it up.
Yeah, for sure. I understand now. Rule 34 makes so much sense to me. Why? Because if somebody takes you up on that offer, then they're probably going to go have sex wearing it. They're probably going to record it. It's going to end up in the world on porn. Everything that exists that isn't porn eventually will be porn. Exactly. Or whatever it is that Rule 34 says. I think that you are not only willing this into existence, but you are perpetuating the Rule 34 element of me dressed as a prostitute.
The other thing, okay, I'll throw me in the mix just so it's not just Judge Mentalist. If you come dressed as me, now this isn't not as risque as Judge Mentalist as a hooker.
Yet.
If you come yet, I'm pretty sure I'll be in some fun positions coming down the pike. If you dress as me, what's currently in the ether right now, what you have access to right now. If you dress as me, dressed as Drax the Destroyer.
Oh yes.
So if you show up or take pictures of or cosplay as Big Draxy, which is what I've
Big
named
Draxy.
Big Draxy. That's me dressed as Drax the Destroyer. And if you don't know what that is, check out my Facebook page, bigsexy. It is currently my profile picture. Again, it's more artwork from Brogan.
And that is the reference. I don't know the episode number, but the ICS episode title was Guardians of the Gutters, I believe.
Yes, Guardians of the Gutter, where Brogan made all, and I was a guest host on there. It was my final goodbye, my third farewell tour on ICS discussions. Brogan made all of us into Guardians of the Galaxy characters. It's great. I think Jacob as Gamora might be my favorite of the four of us.
968, by the way.
Nice. 968.
Thanks to whoever runs the Wikipedia for that, because I literally just typed in "Hey Scoops, Guardian of the Gutters," and the first thing that came up was
episode 968.
968.
So yes, if you need visual reference, you can go there and check those out as well. So boom.
And if you type that in, even without listening to the episode to get the full context, halfway down the page will be those photos. So they're easy to find. Obviously, your social media and otherwise. So
right. There you go. There you go, listeners. Fun things to do. For any creative peeps out there, we would love to have that kind of interaction. We appreciate it. Awesome.
Cool. So I'll be on a boat. The next episode we'll be talking about whatever I experienced and everything like that.
59 days.
You will be.
Yours truly will be on starting this transatlantic journey from Miami to Barcelona.
And by the next time we record, you'll be in the 40s somewhere.
Yes, yeah, which is crazy. Well, the next time, how long is your trip? Because we're not looking at 19 days before we record again.
No, but it's in the 49.
In the 40s. 49 is in the 40s, so that's 10 days. Yeah. How long is your cruise?
7.
So 7 days, a whole week.
Yeah.
How many days are at sea?
There's 3 ports. So does that mean 4?
Not necessarily. I mean, depends on where those ports are.
All the ports.
I mean back-to-back sea days. How many back-to-back?
I think there's
sea days?
2.
Okay.
And then 3 port days, and then 2 coming back. I'm not 100% sure.
That sounds about right.
I'm still kind of at the, hey, I'm on a boat, let's just go with it sort of mentality.
Right.
I definitely am doing more planning ahead, as referenced in the beginning part of this episode, than I have that I did the first time. I almost said have in the past, as if there's some track record here. I mean, there is. It's one cruise. It was last year. Technically, on like a month and a half ago, right?
Technically, last year. Yeah.
All right. So if they want to find that Big Draxy, it's on your social medias. Where
it is on the social medias. You can check me out at Big Sexy Nomad. That's us. You can catch me at Who Is Big Sexy on the IGs and the Twitters and the TikToks and the Tumblrs. I still haven't done any of the newer things like the Hive and there's all these newer social media platforms. They're much more for visual creators, and I'm not that really. I'm an audio creator, so there's that part. But I'm at Who's Big Sexy, and again, on my Facebook is bigsexy. Put the S off the sexy and put it on the big, and catch me there. Shout out to Lee Popsicle, who did reach out when we put out the information about giving away decks of cards. He hit us up, and proof being the pudding, I'm getting ready to go to the post office today. As of this recording, go to the post office today to drop that off. So it's real, and I'm going to make sure that he posts that we send him shit. right? So
Sweet.
the people know that it's real, and to put that kind of stuff out there. How about you, Judge Mentalist? Where are you at?
You're probably going to get 2 back-to-back things, because I will make sure that when these stickers show up, and they might be sitting downstairs right now because I think I saw the UPS guy out the window, I'm going to drop some of those into you to the same address. So that is cool. You can see me on the important social medias and the less important social medias at Psychic-ish, primarily the Twitter and the Instagram. You'll see the face of me as a hooker, which is just with the cigarette in my mouth and some smoke billowing into the air. If you are on the Facebook, follow me. I've got a page set up for Judge Mentalist. You could just type in Judge Mentalist. It will give you a lot of updates. You can message me through there. You can see when my upcoming events are as they are announced. JudgeMentalist.com. Scoop Neon Black is the guy who basically runs judgmentalist.com for me. So he does a very good job of updating my upcoming shows on that, as long as I text him the links to the ticketing page. And boy, oh boy, I am booking the shit out of myself right now.
Well, that's
not
good
just
to
shows
hear.
that I'm doing with Matt, but there are more shows seemingly added every day. So check those out. That's the stuff right there.
Awesome sauce. Well, listeners, we appreciate y'all. Be sure to check us out, bigsexynomad.com. Big Sexy Nomad at all the things. We appreciate you listening. And thanks.
Tell a friend.
Safe travels.
Safe travels.